Live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. I am Aaron, aka the Handy Outdoor Nerd, and this lovely guy over here is.
I'm Chris, aka MrCarrellScience.
And together we are the AC Show, the coolest show on YouTube. All right, so we've got a guest on our show today. You guys should know him. His name is Josh, but he also goes by Alien 3D. So let's give a round of applause for Josh.
Hey, party people. How you doing?
Good. All right,
Viking.
Josh. Go ahead.
Oh, Viking just said hey in chat.
Okay. So Josh, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am Josh from Alien 3D. I started off doing 3D printing with ANET A8. Yay! Didn't burn my
I still
house
have
down.
my ANET, so.
Wanted to make a company dealing with 3D printing, so I started off doing mystery boxes. My monthly mystery box comes with samples, projects, and accessories. And recently, over the last couple months, I started expanding into selling 3D printer upgrades, 3D printers, and replacement parts.
Nice.
Oh, and filaments.
I actually was checking out your website, and for all of you that don't know him or don't follow him, I've got his information down in the description below. So there's his YouTube, his Twitter, and his website for all the goods you can get there. So you can get the UFO boxes and all that fun stuff.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, I've been subscribed for the UFO box for a while, and the cool stuff that you get, and there's some fun projects that come in these boxes, and so they're pretty sweet. Actually, Aaron, I'm gonna send you a code to put in the description so they get $5 off their first UFO mystery box.
Hey, there you go.
I'll send it to you right now. Just a second.
All right. Well, I will put that in here shortly. Hey, Eddie Moser, how are you doing?
There's Eddie Motors, eh? We were talking about you before the stream.
Yep, talking about you behind your back.
All good things. All good things.
Always good thing, Eddie. Always good things. Eddie was doing a review on something, and he had tweeted something out and it popped up. It's like, what company is this about? So he actually tagged the company back in it because it didn't tag them. So, all right. So today's show, pulling my banners here. I should have just done this because special guests. So follow our special guest, everybody, if you don't follow him already.
So far, the only person in the chat that's talking that I don't think follows me is Eddie Moser.
All right, so we've got a couple of things we're going to talk about. So we got our staple that we always do, cool prints, because it's what we like to show off is some cool prints that we found ourselves or printed. We've got the furnace where we can answer a couple of questions. And since we got Eddie, you guys can ask him a couple of questions down in chat. Oh, you know what I forgot to bring? I forgot to bring my Krabby Patty burger. I've got 2 bites I need to take out of that thing.
Oh, that's true. You don't have it with you?
No, I just remember. I was like, I'll take it and I'll eat it on the show because I've got 2 likes. I was just like, crap. Yeah. Oh well, I will have it for our next stream, and I will eat more of it. Make myself sick. And taste Krabby Patty for days. All right, so we are
3D print you're eating.
We're going to talk a little bit about the open source that BC in 3D has released. It was a couple of weeks ago that they did this. We've just been so busy with a bunch of other stuff. We're going to just touch on it just a little bit. 30 Game of Thrones 3D models out there that you can print. And then the annoying thing to talk about right now is YouTube, the FTC, and COPPA. That's trying to get all of us.
I know nothing about that, so that will be enlightening.
It's a mess. I will put some links in the description of some videos I've been checking out. I've been trying to look it up. It's been a long week for me, so trying to get all this kind of squared away and figured out. All right. Let's see, chat. Eddie, flipping the breakers, are you? At least it's a breaker, not a fuse. All right, so starting off, we are going to do cool prints. So Eddie is off doing what he's going to do. So he's probably going to miss part of this. All right, so Josh, would you like to be our first one to show off your cool prints since you are the guest?
Since I found them right before we started. Spoiler alert, if you have not watched The Mandalorian yet.
Then just mute this and look away.
Mute, look away. So I've got
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, people.
Wexter's Baby Yoda. I believe you can only get this through his Patreon at the moment.
That's
And
pretty
then
sweet.
Chris Freeze's Baby Yoda, which he has for free on My Mini Factory. And I painted this one in pink because technically we don't know the sex of Baby Yoda. So this is Baby Yodette.
I've also heard that people said that the Baby Yoda could be a clone of Yoda.
I don't think that.
I was like, I mean, it's 50 years old, so who knows?
Yeah, but this is supposedly only taking place 5 to 7 years after the third original movie, Return of the Jedi.
Well, that's true, but Yoda has been dead, and so who knows?
For only like 5 years, no, 12 years.
But who knows? Who knows
not
when?
Necessarily dead. We're not talking about dead. We're talking about became one with the Force. All right,
that's the important distinction.
All right,
yes, he is a Force ghost. Yes, I will take that back and say he is a Force ghost. Yes, he is a Force ghost. But who knows when they could have gotten Yoda's DNA if they actually cloned him? Because there's the Clone Wars, so they do clone, and I don't want to go too nerdy on everybody tonight. So.
Actually, Eddie Moser, if you put a picture of Yaddle and Yoda next to each other and you take away her hair, they look a lot alike. Like they just threw hair on a Yoda puppet.
They did. It's pretty much.
Build tech sheet. Is that the one you got in the July UFO?
It is.
No,
yeah,
June
I was looking at this. And I got a printer that this will fit pretty much perfectly on. But I got another printer that's smaller. And I was looking at my wife and I said, which printer should I put this on? And she goes, well, put it on the small printer, obviously. And I'm like, but I'd have to cut the logo. It's not going to fit. And so, I don't know.
A lot of people, they use them either as mouse pads. Some people have told me they've hung them on the wall. I actually stuck one to the wall of my bedroom.
Nice. And another thing you can do, if you've got a 3D pen, you can use it as a drawing surface for your 3D pen.
Drawing surface as well.
But I wanted to have it on so that when I do my time lapses, it's got the logo on it.
There you go. So what cool prints are you showing off today, Chris?
All right. Well, so I am showing off some cool prints. You can, if you want to share my screen.
Yes. Just a moment.
I'll show you what I got.
And there you go.
So the cool prints, I did print these, but like most of them failed because I was having a little issue with my extruder. I printed it overnight and I woke up in the morning to a huge mess. But they did print, they just had some gaps and stuff, and a lot of these broke in half. But basically, here's what's going on. Here's the situation. my school is having a salsa festival where we're kind of celebrating Hispanic heritage and stuff because I live in southeastern Arizona. And um, my class was actually challenged with creating and designing the trophies that would be handed out at the salsa festival. So basically, we were supposed to hand out trophies for the best hot salsa, the best mild salsa. There's going to be a poetry contest. There's going to be an art contest. And so I had to create like something like 7 trophies for this salsa fest that's going to be next week. And I decided rather than design all these trophies myself, that I was going to throw that responsibility onto my students. So I spent about 2 days teaching them how to use basic Tinkercad, and then they went through Tinkercad and modeled trophies. And so I've got about 120 different models of salsa trophies, and I took all those models and I chose the ones that looked like they would be the most printable because some of them, they didn't quite group the pieces together properly. And so I took the best ones and the students voted. And so I wanted to show off the designs that my students voted for our Salsa Fest trophies.
Cool.
So this is one of them. It's like a little bowl of salsa with a chip in it. It says 2019 winner Salsa Fest. So that's pretty cool. Here's another one, another bowl of salsa that they actually hand drew individually each one of these chips around the outside of the bowl. And then they've got a stereotype mustache on the front for some reason, but it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Here's another one that they actually designed in full color. I can't print it in full color, but they designed it in full color, so that's cool. And it looks a lot like a bowl salsa. This is my favorite. This was the favorite of all of my students. They really like this one, and it says 2019 Salsa Fest on the bottom. It's pretty cool. A little hand-drawn chili pepper holding up the 2019. It's pretty cool. I like this one. I think this was a little cute little pepper. It's awesome. Let's see. Here's like a little pyramid thing. It's got text all over it. It takes a really, really long time to print, but it looks pretty sweet. And then this is the last one that was chosen. It's just got a little star in the middle, ring. A lot of the kids said they liked it because it looked like an electric toothbrush. But I just thought it was really awesome how, you know, all of these designs were created by my students. These are not my designs. I didn't come up with them. I showed them some tips and some tricks and helped them to learn how to use the interface. But all of these came directly from my students that are 12, 13 years old. So I think it's really
awesome.
Awesome. All right. So I've got some cool prints that I've done. Now,
Eddie Moser, be nice, be nice.
now I have to actually pop out chat because for whatever reason, and I was trying to figure out why I couldn't view this on YouTube for several days because I had set the streams out. So we go Chris's channel, my channel, Chris's channel, my channel. So I've set up all the streams ahead of time on my channel for several weeks. And apparently it set them all to private, so it now chat won't go on it for StreamYard. So I have to have pop out chat.
Well, I've got chat over here pulled up on my screen, so
I want to see what they're saying at least.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I always pop out chat anyways, because I found that StreamYard chat is lagged.
Oh, I know it's lagged, but I could at least pop stuff up onto the actual screen if I wanted to pop something up.
Oh, that's true.
But it said StreamYard does not do private videos, allow the chat to show up. So I was like, well, that's really annoying.
Oh no, Eddie Moser, I know exactly what you're talking about. I saw the same thing.
I mean,
but I mean for
one of those things,
yeah, no, for kids.
Chat finally populated because I changed it, and now it all of a sudden goes bah, and it drops everything. Now I can do that.
Yeah, no, and like I said, it's really impressive because they had 1 day of the Tinkercad tutorial, and then they had the next day of me showing them some tips and tricks for just a few minutes. But after that, they were just pretty much on their own. It was just them raising their hands once every 10, 15 minutes. Hey, Mr. Carroll, how do I do this? And then they did everything on their own. So it was really, really cool.
No, it's definitely impressive. I get into Tinkercad and I suck bad.
Yeah,
I've gotten better, but
I
I'm
was
not
okay
great.
at it, but I'm not as good as I once was.
It's actually become kind of a standing joke on this channel that if on the show, if you want to see something really funny, you ask Chris to design something,
It's true.
whether it's in Fusion 360 or TCAD or whatever, it always turns out to be a train wreck. So
So I've been printing some stuff for my wife's Christmas gift that I'm trying to make for her, and it was being kind of a pain on the sizing and stuff because not everything is going to be exactly equal whenever you do a lithothane. Oh, come on. I got to change the brightness. There we go.
That looks really great.
that's a good one. That's really
So
cool.
there's that one. And I actually have another one printing. Well, it should be done now. My son playing in the leaves.
Aw.
That one looks sweet, Aaron. That's my favorite one right there.
He's a cutie. And this was one that we had gotten taken a while back. So I got
That was
two,
really
So
nice.
two of our son by himself, and then two with us. And the other one that I don't have with me, I got a smaller version of it because I told it to print the size I wanted it of those ones, and it didn't. It printed it small.
It still came out really great.
Oh yeah, it turned out great, and I also have this one in it as well. So, but my wife doesn't watch my streams, so I'm good. But you can see the difference.
It's gonna be the one time.
Yeah, you can see the difference in the heights
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
just these small ones. So I had to do some tinkering and stuff with it. So this one, I had actually just pulled it down in Cura because that's what I was doing it via the lithothanes that Joe, aka 3D printing professor, his tutorial on doing the lithothanes.
Mhm.
Just did that and did the height and everything changed after I had the lithothane set up. Kind of tried to change it, which was just going to squish it or do whatever. So I just dropped it into the bed, which then cuts it off on the print.
Right.
So this one I did on this one. I made this one shorter that way. I dropped it into the bed. So there is that for cool prints. Now, I can't show it to you because it won't pop up. And if I would have thought about it ahead of time, I would have saved the actual link, but I saved the file. Now Josh showed you 3D printing Yoda. I'll find what I'm looking for. Before I do this. All right. So, and these are a whole bunch of different files for a Yoda. As you can see, there's several here.
Is it like full size or what?
Well, I don't know how big the thing is. That's
Well, I guess Yoda baby. I don't know. I don't even know what full size for that would be.
yeah.
I
So
love how Dropbox, when it doesn't recognize file names, it uses a UFO as the icon.
yeah, so there's some advertisement for you.
Unidentified file object.
Yeah. So also here is another cool print. Now I've got this ready to print on my Kiwi Tech. I just haven't printed it yet because I've been trying to print stuff for the Christmas gift. So to print something separately for myself another time.
I
So-
definitely want that model.
I will I will put in the description link down below with several links to files like this one here. And I could probably put the Dropbox link file in there for you all if you want. But so this one is resin printed. And it turned out fantastic. I mean, just by looking at it. And you can see there's it coming off the printer. And then this one was FDM printed. And I like how you can actually see outside right there how high up they are. But that one, I think, is a pretty cool print.
How you doing, Ben?
Oh, hey, Ben. That's one of my students. I told him he's supposed to be in bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So Eddie, you're saying you printed lithophane box for your wife for Mother's Day. I think that's really cool. I right now I'm working on some Christmas presents, and one of them is going to be basically it's for my sister and for her kids. I don't think any of them watch my stream, so hopefully not. But we're going to do like a reading nook for each one of them. So what we're going to do is I'm going to make a lamp for each kid, and my wife is going to sew a Levi blanket for each kid. And then we're going to get them a book that goes along with it. And so one of the kids, what I wanted to do is make a lithophane lamp, because we were trying to think, like, one kid's really into video games, and so I'm making a Mario lamp. Another kid's really into like owls and stuff, so we're going to do an owl lamp. But the other one, we weren't really sure what to do, and I think I'm going to do like a lithophane box with a little light panel underneath to do for her. So that's really cool.
Now, were you a subscriber to my February UFO?
Which one was the February one?
The Valentine's Day.
Oh, you know what? I think that might have been my first one, actually.
Because the project for that month was actually a
It was a lithophane box. Yeah, now that you bring it up, to be honest, I haven't done any of the projects, but I have all the stuff to do them. It's just
come on, science teacher.
I'm telling you. I'm terrible. I got a big box that it's the only thing in it is just the parts to do the projects from the UFO boxes, and so every month I just put those new boxes in, new pieces in there.
That's pretty cool. Eddie said he did a Par Patrol lamp for the oldest boy.
Nice. And if you've got pictures of that, I'd like to see it, honestly.
Yeah, I've seen lithophane lamps. Pretty cool looking.
Yeah. You can hit me up on Twitter or something. Maybe I want to see some pictures of that. Maybe it'll spark my imagination.
Yeah. Also, Eddie, you got to let me know when and where you want to meet up on Black Friday. Totally up for it.
Speaking of Black Friday, you guys got anything that you're like looking for Black Friday? Like anything you're hoping to get out of it?
I'm broke.
I'm a t-shirt bro.
I'm with Josh. I'm broke too. So
I'm hoping to get a Roku. That's my goal. A Roku.
Oh.
A Roku stick. Walmart's got Roku's going on sale for like $18.
I want to do the stick. Well, I mean, you could. The problem with it is the Wi-Fi on it is be hit and miss on them. I've got two Rokus. I've got the box Roku, and I've got a small Roku like this big that you actually stick on your TV wherever you want. But it has
Walmart's going on sale.
Yeah, it's got the audio video cables if you need the three there, or you get an HDMI cable as well.
The thing about the stick though is that the stick has a 4 gig has a quad core processor in it, and so it thinks a lot faster than the other ones do. So I actually have one of the sticks. It's the newer stick. I have it for my front room, and then I wanted to get a Roku stick for my bedroom. Because right now I've got a Fire TV stick and it's a couple years old, and it just I don't have cable or anything. We just do streaming stuff. So
Which I think that's
Yeah,
where
I've
most
got the
everything's going
Fire
for.
Cube.
what's that?
I've got the Fire Cube for my
Oh
TV.
yeah, how you like it?
I think it's pretty great. It's pretty awesome.
I think when I bought the Fire TV stick, they were really pushing the Fire Cube, and I think it's one of those things where they purposely made one thing suck so that people would want to buy the more
Well,
expensive thing.
I had the Fire Stick for probably a year or so before I got the Cube, and the only reason I got rid of the stick is because I gave it to my mom for her to use.
Mhm.
And then I got the Cube, and I like the Cube because I can control my TV and my PlayStation. I just tell it to turn on my TV on, and it turns it on. Tell it to switch to the PlayStation, it does. I'm
Nice.
lazy. Like my girlfriend, she her dad got her a dot and a couple switches, plugs, smart plugs, and she's like, "You should get one." And I was like, "I used to have a dot, but I never used it, and I lost it." So then I got a dot and a couple switches, and now I probably have 25 smart switches or plugs in my house, and people on my stream are always making fun of me because I tell them to turn on my lights. And
That's funny. So your brother says, remember guys, turn your phones on the side when filming for the rest of us.
Yeah, my dad posted something on Facebook today that he was talking about Black Friday. And he's like, anybody who goes Black Friday shopping, if you're gonna film the fight, make sure your phone's turned sideways.
Yeah, so I work in broadcast television, and we always air stuff that people do, and you get they blur the sides because you only get like this of the video,
Right.
because all the other video is the same thing, so it's just like overlapping. So they just blur the rest of the video. So why do you want to film like this? I mean, why?
Although YouTube now has gotten to where you can film a video vertically and you can watch it vertically on your phone, kind of like that TikTok format.
Yeah, I rarely film vertically, and the only time I film vertically is when my son's doing something and I'm trying to get that
Oh
film.
yeah. Well, the only time that I film vertically is when I accidentally push the record button while I'm still starting to turn my phone, and so it comes out with the video sideways. But no, that's I get people all the time come and ask me, hey, can you splice this video together for me? Can you edit this video for me or whatever? And I'm like, is your TV shaped this way? When you go home and look at your TV, is it up and down? But
yeah. Eddie says he cut cable 5 years ago and that he hasn't looked back.
Good for you, Eddie. I was too poor to afford cable in the first place. So $10 a month Netflix was great. Now it's like $15 a month, and I'm a little sad.
Yeah, I don't do cable. I just do subscription stuff like Netflix and all that.
I do Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and we're working on a partnership deal to acquire Disney Plus right now.
There you go. All right, so that was cool, Prince.
I will say for $6.99 a month, the amount of stuff you get for Disney Plus is totally worth it.
Yeah.
Well, we have Verizon, and if you have an unlimited plan with Verizon, if you have unlimited data with Verizon, they give you a year of Disney Plus for free.
A year free, yeah.
But I don't have unlimited data, but my in-laws do, and so we're going to just split the cost. $70 a year divided by like 3 different families.
Yeah.
Hey, you can watch them on 4 different devices at once, so.
Yeah.
That's nice. All right, so we're gonna jump into a fun little thing. We're gonna do
to the pot. Oh, no.
3D prints. Now I've actually got this sliced up, and I just need to toss it on some cards, one of the files, so I can print it. And it'll be exciting to do that. It's just going to take me a little while. So I will show.
Man, this is going to be a rough stream for me, Aaron, because I've never seen Game of Thrones either.
That's okay.
We just moved from one thing I haven't seen to another.
All right, so I'm just going to kind of flow through this like I did not too long ago. So you get Winterfell.
That's a sweet looking dragon. I'll give you that.
So Hodor Doorstopper. And
Geek Tech.
House Stark Ring. Ned Stark's sword.
What color is that filament, Josh?
This is my ooze.
That's your alien ooze?
Mm-hmm.
You get your dice cup. Somebody that likes to play D&D, there you go. There's a dice cup. There's a good Christmas gift for somebody. A pencil holder, which is funny because it's just a chair.
It's just a chair, but they're like, oh, it's Game of Thrones, right?
It's not even. Now the Hand of the Kingpin. That's definitely Game of Thrones. You get a wax seal. That's actually.
I wanted to print some wax seals. I think that would be cool to like send out your Christmas cards or something with a wax seal.
Oh yeah, I think that'd be kind of fun. Now see, this is what they're imitating with the pencils, but you get the Iron Throne actually, which would be a better resin print than an FDM print.
Is that what it looks like?
That's the Iron Throne.
But is that like accurate?
Yeah,
like pictures that I've seen
accurate.
before. I thought
a bunch of sorts like welded together pretty much. You get Joffrey's crown.
3D printing professor just printed a crown recently. Is there anything like that?
You get a ruby choker.
A Joker. That doesn't look fake at all.
Yeah, I know. And they did it in a yellow filament.
Something.
They could have done the ruby in a translucent one, at least. I would have done it in a translucent ABS and did some acetone.
I'll smooth it out.
Yeah. So there's Oathkeeper. So they really need to work on when they print some stuff. Look, you're seeing what I'm seeing.
You know what though?
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet though. I mean, even though it needs a little help with the joining.
No, well, the problem is it's not level or it warped up off the bed.
Yeah.
So you get the gap. Just toss the raft down or toss a bunch of brims down.
You can see that it's got it. Not only it's warped and it has an elephant's foot.
Yeah, it's
so.
But the hilt looks
the handle looks sick though.
Yeah, the hilt looks great.
I'll give him props on the handle.
But I was just like,
but Aaron, can you really talk bad about someone who's got a mustache like that? Go back to the mustache. I mean,
the beard.
Let's get some likes on the video for the mustache right there. All right, because that's epic.
That is
the mustache and the handle. That's the saving grace.
Yeah, he's got a good beard, and he's got the fur to go with the beard.
It matches.
Now you get the it's a helmet, and that'd be an interesting print to do to get to the actual size. Daenerys Targaryen, the bust with a dragon over the shoulder. You get a little necklace. That would be more of a resin print for sure. Now the dragon egg, that would be a fun one to do, and like
that one looks sick. I'd print that. I don't know why I'd print it because I've never seen Game of Thrones, but I'd print it.
It'd be cool. Yeah. Now what I would do is I would print that with no infill and have a hole cut in the bottom to where you can have a light kind of glowing, kind of pulse glow, kind of get a little bit of a translucent filament.
Devin from Gear 3D printed 3 of those and colored them for each of the dragons. Came out really awesome.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Did you guys see the 3D printing professor's eggs, that the hatching eggs that he did, where you print it, and as it prints a shell around the outside so you can't see what it looks like, and then when you pull it off, it's just a real thin layer that's broken into segments so you can like peel the eggshell off and it like hatches from the shell.
I did not. I have to check that out.
That's pretty cool.
This is a really cool dragon. Now you got a weapon. They did pretty good on binding the parts together. And some are a little worse on the connecting parts, but for the most part, it's not bad. They didn't do any touch-ups or anything on it. I would have made that look like wood, or at least printed that in wood filament. Now you get this mask. Now, I've not watched all of Game of Thrones, so I don't know what the deal with the mask is right now. So I need to finish.
$150,000 metal 3D printer. I mean, come on. That's only $50K from each of us. Let's do this, guys.
Only got a Signa. Let's go down. Got a bust right there. Now this is pretty cool.
Yeah, chessboard's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So is it just chess? Is that all it is?
Mhm.
Yeah, it's kind of a
What's
weird.
with the castle? What is that? Is it like some sort of weird different thing, or am I
Yeah.
crazy?
No, it's not chess. It's vice. I think it's
I
a
mean,
game they can't.
I'd learn how to play. It looks sick. Like I'll play that.
I think if I remember right, clicking it, there's a rules in there that tell you what to do. Yeah, so there's rules. You click right here, it takes you to the rules. The characters' faces. Now that's pretty cool. I like that. Like a little keychain or necklace, you can have that as. Stark and Targaryen. Now, this would be interesting to see how this actually worked. The little music box.
A music box? I guess you would just have to get the little fork thing, I guess.
Well,
No, I think the whole thing's 3D printed.
yeah, because you can 3D print the forks. I mean, it doesn't sound as it doesn't sound as good as the metal forks do, but you have them plastic rub against the metal. You want the plastic against plastic for it to last longer.
Okay, hold up. Let me. I gotta. Really? 3D print the forks for that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've seen them.
you
I've
can.
seen them printed. You got a token storage for game to have for it. So you got a dagger, which they did fairly decent on this dagger. I mean, it actually worked on, so not too bad. Skull mask, creepy, but they actually did work on that, so not bad. There you go. If you have an Xbox One, you could print a faceplate for your controller. For Game of Thrones.
Oh, hey. Speaking of video games, either of you guys excited about Stadia at all?
Never heard of it.
That's Google's new gaming platform that's going to use the processing power in the cloud. So it basically like instant streams to your TV without having to have even like a super solid internet connection. You don't have to have, it doesn't use your processing power or anything like that. It's all built in to like a Chromecast essentially. And
That's
so
interesting.
it's supposed to be like high def gaming that is supposed to be way higher quality than PS5 or whatever's coming out next, but it's all running through like a Google Chromecast.
That's pretty cool. So just since you were showing off Game of Thrones, this is also actually a Targaryen dragon, and the actual file comes with Daenerys as well that you can 3D print. You can actually, I don't know if you can see it on there well, but
Yeah,
it's
you
got
gotta
like
see.
footprints for her to stand in.
That's cool.
But it
I mean,
prints
it's
in.
not Game of Thrones dragon, but if we're showing off dragons, this is that red glitter PLA that came in that mystery box a few months ago.
Nice.
Oh, so that should have been.
It's bad lighting right now, but
Persimmon, wasn't it?
no. Filament 1.
Oh, okay, that was a filament one. Because I know I had a red cruciment as well that was in the UFOs. Can't remember what month that was though.
Filament one, red glitter PLA, and then it, it would have been the month. It would have been, was it February? It might have been February because March was the St. Patrick's Day one, and it had the same filament but green instead of red. And that, I think this one was the month before that. So.
Yeah, for a year I had a filament one in the box.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly, Geek Tech. Because I've seen stream boxes before. They didn't have the power of Google behind them. But the thing is, even if it can process the power better than a PlayStation 5, that's cool. But if you don't have the internet connection that can really pull that much data down at once, it's still going to be laggy for you.
Yeah, you got to have the internet connection. Eddie had said red glint most likely.
Yeah, it was the glint red.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about BCN and their open source. So we're just going to touch on it a little bit because I mean a lot of places have done open source for everything. BCN, if you guys don't know, that's actually from Spain, is where they're located, I believe. So they got their Sigma R19 and their Sigma Max printers. So, but I mean, this is not a Sigma.
No, that's an advertisement.
Oh, come on. They don't have a Sigma in this. Oh, that's just downright ridiculous, people. So let's see if we can get to BCN. So this is BCN, and this is their page. So they've released. See, this is a new one I didn't know about, the Epsilon. This is their Sigmas. Sigma and Sigma Max. This is what they look like. They have released the open source files about 2 weeks ago. And they've got the dual extruders, so they individually can go and print one and then go print the other. So you can do multiple materials, or you can have them do mirror mode, and they print the exact same thing. So yeah, they've got it open sourced, so you can download the files and everything. It gives you everything you need to know, like the frame, and then all the parts in there. So that is BCN. So I didn't want it to be a big topic on it because it was a couple weeks ago. All right. Gee, someone's printing something.
No,
Who are you talking about? You want me or him?
Him.
I'm not printing anything.
Is that yours, Chris?
That's mine, yeah. I got my Ender 3 back there. I've been, so I don't know why this happens, but every time I print PET-G and I finally get it to print well, I take the PET-G out, and whatever I put in next after that prints like total garbage. And I don't know why. But like
what are you printing after it?
I mean, PLA usually, just regular PLA.
The reason is your PLA temps don't reach the PET-G temps, so there's probably little specks of PET-G still in the nozzle.
Oh, but what I do though is when I do a filament change, I heat it up higher than the PET-G temp, and then I try and blast it out and then rip it so that I try and pull as much of that stuff out before I load the new filament.
When you pull it out, are you trying to do a cold pull?
I did today. That's what I'm printing right now. Is I printed something yesterday and it didn't turn out super great, and so today I did a cold pull to try and get some more of that junk out, and then I'm reprinting it. But yes. Anyways, I had last week. I had printed out some cool stuff in the probed Pet G. In fact, actually,
Yeah, I
so
went back and watched your video to see how it was coming along.
yeah, it's hard to see with the lighting, but I mean, it in person, the parts came out perfect. And I even like this is the second one that I made because I tried doing it the first time and just like experimenting to see if I could get the thing to actually work. And so I have one of the lamps back here behind me. You can see it like just right there.
Right. Yeah.
So I've got one behind me, but it didn't turn out super great because I printed one of the pieces in the wrong orientation, and so it didn't match everything else. And I didn't have my temperature quite high enough, I don't think, and so the color came out a little bit off. But I reprinted them, and I got 0 stringing, I got 0 bubbles, everything. I don't know how I somehow like magically got it just perfectly dialed in. And so because it was printing so well, I just kept on printing stuff. I was like, I'm just gonna keep printing in this pet. And so I printed a new extruder mount for my Monoprice Select Mini.
That's interesting.
And so it's got a spot on the front to you mount the fan that blows across the cold end, the heat sink, and then it's got another fan mounts here that blows across the front because the Monoprice Select Mini V1.
It looks like it's got some parts a little too close to the heat block that are probably going to warp.
Yeah, well, this is the second one that I printed. I printed this in PLA because it was all I had or all I could get to work. And so I do know that it works because I have it in PLA right now. And then I reprinted this in PETG because it has a little bit better temperature. And so I printed it in that Pro PETG because I think it looks sweet. And then I printed those wheels that I showed off in the video last week that I thought were really cool. And so I've done quite a few things with it, and then I changed filaments, and I tried to print a star for my 2 little boys have like these little mini like 12-inch Christmas trees that they put in their room that they got to. This year we made some homemade decorations, and they decorated them themselves, and they were all excited about it and stuff, but they wanted a star to go on top, and they're super into Mario, and so I was like, I'm gonna print a Mario star and put it on top. So I tried printing a Mario star, and there's all kinds of gaps, and like it looked like the extruder was clogged, and I was like, man, I don't know why it was printed so good. I should have just printed it in Pro. So, but anyways, I did a cold pull like right before the stream started, and I started reprinting the star. So I don't know how it's turning out yet because I didn't look at it, but fingers crossed.
All right, so I'm going to play a video, and this video is talking about YouTube, FTC, and COPPA. So this is a little more explained than what I can try to do. It's only about 5 minutes long. So bear with me for just a second. All right, so this is the guy's channel. I've got it linked in the description down below.
I got to tell you, I've been hearing some pretty crazy responses from creators in regards to COPPA, the FTC, and YouTube terms of service changes. In this video, we're going to get real, talk about those, and talk about whether it's a good idea for you to give up on YouTube and delete all your videos. Spoiler alert, that's an extremely dumb idea. YouTube Simplify. Hey, for future content that helps you simplify YouTube, make sure you click the subscribe button and that bell notification icon so you don't miss a thing. Hi, and welcome to Creator Fundamentals. My name is Dan Courier, and it is my mission to simplify YouTube so you and I can grow together. First of all, time out, slow your roll. You guys need to calm down and chill out. Yes, we have a little of adversity in front of us, some people more than others, especially those who are creating kits ads content. But like anything on YouTube, we are constantly in flux. There are always rules that are changing. There are always guidelines that are being adjusted. And this is no different. Yes, it seems like the sky is falling and people are running around like Chicken Little, but you have to understand that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Now, this isn't the first change. It won't be the last change. And it is not time for you to absolutely give up and walk away. I see people out there talking about deleting all their videos and canceling their channel.
Are you out of your mind?
Yes, this can be stressful. It is concerning. But here's the deal. There's a lot more than just ads that you can use to make money on YouTube. If you're in a situation where you're getting most of your money from ads, well, this will be your call to action to not let that happen again in the future. Yes, it might hurt in the short term, but I am extremely confident that A, there are a lot of different ways to make money beyond ads, and B, the advertisers are going to find a way to utilize this type of content to get ads on, even if it doesn't fit the current model on YouTube. And a lot of people are trying to blame YouTube. This isn't YouTube. This is YouTube trying to comply with the FTC. And oh, by the way, the $170 million fine that they received from the FTC. So this isn't about YouTube. You can't give up on YouTube and go to a different platform and expect you're not going to have the same problems, because it's the Federal Trade Commission. It's the U.S. government. No matter where you go, if the platform is interacting with an audience in the United States, all the same rules are in play. Like on YouTube, as it always does, and I got to admit, it doesn't hurt my channel when everybody absolutely freaks out every time something changes. Change is inevitable. I don't know whether a lot of you have never experienced any type of adversity, but you really need to chill out when it comes to absolutely losing your mind every time something changes. Yes, this one's a little more extreme. It's definitely going to change the layout of the land as far as everybody has been living it to this point. But the reality is that change is inevitable. The only thing that is certain is uncertainty. So you have to be in a constant mindset to go with the flow, to make adjustments, to survey the land and say, okay, what is the environment that we are creating in today? And how do I maximize that to help grow my channel, build my audience, and make revenue in the process? We can do that. We will do that in the future. This is not the end of YouTube, and you really need to have that mindset, because every time something changes, if you just go right in the tank and just get completely discouraged, it's going to be a really hard and long and painful trip here on YouTube and in life in general. So buckle up, Buttercup, because it's time to put your big boy pants on and get to work on figuring out how you move forward, and not all the different ways you can blame YouTube and the FTC and how unfair it is, because the reality is that's life. It happens. You adjust and you move forward. And hey, if you want future content that can help you simplify YouTube and not just sit around and feel sorry for yourself, definitely click that subscribe button and the bell notification icon so you don't miss a thing. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this video and what your plan is to move forward. I'm going to continue to put out content as we see these changes go into effect here on YouTube. And when I see clever ways that people are adjusting to this, I'm going to share that with you so you know how other people are coping and what you can do to continue to move forward. And hey, don't forget, this video is sponsored by TubeBuddy.
So that's a bit of a cap on that. So you get the FTC and the COPPA going and saying that if you don't do certain things, you are going to be fined for every video that you have out there.
I just want to say,
Go ahead.
sorry, I take offense to some of what he was saying, because I'm a millennial. I'm supposed to be a snowflake that just melts under pressure. If he's telling me to, actually grow up and be more mature, I mean, doesn't he realize what generation I was born into? I mean, come on now. You can't expect me to act like an adult. I'm only 31.
Let me.
Sorry. Literally, there's only one setting you have to set, and then you don't have to worry about anything.
This is true, and I will.
Well, I think the worrisome part is if you set your video to to say that it's not intended for children. But if you make content that, like, okay, here's an example. What about YouTube gamers that play video games on YouTube, but they use, I mean, have you ever seen a gamer like stream or whatever? There's lots of swearing and lots of adult content that you don't see because it's in a video game format. They might be videoing themselves playing, you know, Super Mario Maker 2 or something, which would absolutely be child appropriate, except for the fact that there is, you know, every swear word that a sailor would be ashamed of saying, you know, in that stream. And so the worrisome thing that I would have is that YouTube's algorithm would see this video and say, look at this, it's a video game, that's a Mario video game, obviously it's intended for kids, and they mark it as just for kids. And then somebody gets fined because they made content and they lied about it being made for kids and stuff like that. I don't know. But see, and Eddie brings up a point. He says most gamers state they're streaming for 18 plus, and I agree with that, except just saying that you are streaming for 18 plus doesn't mean that YouTube's algorithm isn't going to see, because it specifically says in the email that I got from YouTube, it says that it's looking for music, it's looking for cartoons, it's looking for things that are generally based towards kids. And so it doesn't seem impossible to me that somebody's video that would be intended for an adult audience could be mistakenly added to a kids playlist.
But yeah, he says it doesn't say you are going to be fined. It says you could be fined, which will result in a court case, which then results in you going into court and in front of your peers, which is true. So yes, it does say you could be fined. I'm actually going to show you guys how to set up on your channel. There's a couple ways on how to do this. There's one really quick way to do it. So you go to your channel, you go to your actual channel part, and you go to the studio, and then you actually go to settings. So if you get into your settings any which way you want to, go and click on channel and then click on advanced. Right here it has instantly saying yes, this is for children. No, it's not. Here's the thing. It says if you are doing this for children, ads are gone. You actually lose the subscribers. You will not have people able to subscribe to your channel, if I'm getting this correct, and a bunch of other stuff. So I've set mine saying no, it's not.
Well, so that brings up another question though. What's a kid? What's the definition of a kid?
13 or under according to federal laws.
So my students watch my YouTube videos, and a lot of times when I make content, it's intended for them to watch. For example, I have a series that's called Things Every Guy Should Know, that I am trying to show some of the guys in my class, like, this is how you tie a tie, this is how you change your oil. Like, to me, I am not targeting kids in this video. I'm just doing a tutorial on how to do something, but the intended audience is teenage kids. So
you can flag each video individually.
Yeah. So you can do that. You can do that to do every single one.
What I mean is, would you consider a video of me doing a tutorial on how to tie a tie a video that's targeting kids?
No.
I'm not sure if I would. I've watched videos on how to tie ties.
I don't know too many kids that would go watch a video on how to tie a tie.
Yeah.
Have you? Okay, so Glenn from Fun King 3D. I don't know if you guys know him or not.
Oh, absolutely. He lives 45 minutes away from me, and I hang out at his house.
There you go. So he posted something on Twitter, I think it was today, where he talked about how he said, my content isn't intended for children. I use machines that are capable of, getting up to 600 degrees Fahrenheit and can burn the skin right off your finger, and very dangerous machines that I use. They're not intended for kids. But then at the same time, I'm looking at Xander's Thing Thursday, and I'm going, how is
Exactly.
that not for kids?
Yeah, I was gonna say you got Xander's Thing Thursday, and that's obviously.
But at the same time, I love Xander's Thing Thursday. I'm not a kid, but that like, you should suggest and recommend that video for me because I love stuff like that.
Well, and the thing is, so I try to do my videos where there's no foul language in any of them. We have some people that come on that are from Australia that swear as a daily ritual because they're Australians. That's kind of how they speak down there. And we all know who we're talking about, Chris, don't we?
I'm a little nervous that he's gonna be on my stream next week. He's gonna have a hard time.
So
he's a good guy though.
He's good. He's a great guy. We love him to death. He's fantastic. But I mean, that's just kind of a thing that people, when they're in an environment that's just how people speak, they do that. So I mean, I try to keep it clean. I try to make it so everyone can watch my videos, but now I'm not going to be like, well, oh yeah, it's for kids. But going back and thinking about my videos, like, can I go through and change? Because Eddie was saying there was the third option. Yes, there was, and I didn't mention it. So thank you. It said to do each video as they come up, which if I'm going to do a video, I will, go back and change it if I really want to, if I think it is for kids. But say like unboxing videos of, let's say, my fishing tackle box that I do for the mystery tackle box. Is that for kids? Not for kids. It's a tackle box.
I don't know, man.
How do you rate that? Doing a tutorial in Fusion 360, is that for kids? Not for kids. I mean, it's a gear tutorial on how to make a gear. How is that?
I think here's the difference. I think you guys are confusing kid friendly with made for kids.
Well, no, and I understand.
Is that kid friendly? Yes.
Yes.
Is it made for kids? No.
But that's what on my mind is like, well, what videos do I have out there? Did I like I've done a giveaway of a 3D pen.
I would say that giveaways are not made for kids because generally when you do a giveaway, you usually would state they have to be at least 18 plus or something like that. So
you cannot collect data from a child under the age of 13 to be able to send that giveaway to anyways.
Yeah. So, but it's just kind of a thing, and it's just like, So, I mean, no, oh, that's true. You have to be 18 to win a giveaway. Yes. But if you've got a kid that has an account and they've done something to enter it in, and it doesn't say that they're 18 or not, I mean, there's that iffy part. But yeah, you need to be 18 to do a giveaway. Some places say you need to be I think you can be 13 for certain giveaways. Hey, One Raz is finally on here.
Hey, One Raz.
Forever. So the giveaways I've done, it's just been the one giveaway on a 3D pen, and obviously I didn't think of like aging, but most of the people that watch my videos, I don't think they are under the age of 18, really. So so he says, if obviously, as Eddie says, if they break the law, they're it's not on you. If they don't, if they say, oh yeah, I'm 18, but they're actually 13, that's on them, which is true. So
if we were to talk about something else besides giveaways, them lying about their age is does not exclude you from getting in trouble with the law. I'm just saying.
Well, it's true.
Fine.
So,
Gonna leave
but,
with that.
but yeah, so but YouTube's also got this thing on giveaways that you can and can't do on certain things.
Oh yeah. Well,
So-
we don't do giveaways on YouTube anymore, right? Now it's can't use Gleam on YouTube or something.
You can use Gleam. You're limited. You can't be like, hey, subscribe to my YouTube channel.
And get an entry.
Yeah.
Watch this video for an entry. Can't do that.
Yeah. So when I did it, I had to kind of jump off and be like, okay, well, here's the link. Here's the video on YouTube, and down there's the link for it if you want to enter it. So that's what I did, and yeah, that was a fun time to change around. But no, yeah, it is kind of hit and miss on things, and you were pointing things out, right, Josh? Like confusing kid friendly or made for kids, and that is a big difference. Is let's see, that even popped in my head. Like, is it just kid friendly or made for kids? Like,
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
looking
That's a
at
good point.
that aspect of it, I'm like, well, okay, I could say that it's kid friendly, but not made for kids. So, because I try to have it set so people can watch it and not be like, oh, well, they're just cursing like a sailor. Okay. So,
That's all my videos not meant. If you're 12 or 13, this video is not meant for you. It's meant for the 14-year-olds. So I'll say. I only care if the 14-year-olds can tie a tie. Nobody else.
but
All right,
yeah.
what do we got next, Aaron?
well, let's see. Well, we've got the furnace. And this will be our last thing that we kind of do. So, people down in chat, you can ask all of us a question on 3D printing, woodworking, or just making.
Fire around.
Yeah. So, yeah. So if you got a question for us,
Did you table the other discussion that you had mentioned in Twitter?
I mean, I can bring it up. I mean, we've talked about it before. I wasn't going to go into a big discussion on it, but what he's talking about is, again, there's been legal and illegal times that they've legalized. So they've legalized it and made it illegal for 3D printing files for your 3D printing guns. And so recently they've made it illegal again in the U.S. to 3D print your guns, like to sell the files again. So they've made it legal recently, and then they've made it illegal again recently. It's kind of like a magic carp. It's flopping everywhere.
I don't know. I think that we have a lot bigger problems to worry about in our country than people 3D printing guns, honestly.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah.
There's a lot bigger problems than that. So, not to get too political or anything, but
oh, yeah. So I didn't want
a lot of stuff going on right now.
Yeah, I didn't want to get political on this. We just kind of talk about, like, hey, guess what? They've made it illegal again.
I don't need to 3D print guns because I have real guns. So
yeah.
You guys doing anything special for Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving is gonna be Sunday night. We're doing it early. My sister's kids got a hunt that they're going on over Thanksgiving, so we're doing our Thanksgiving this Sunday. So on actual Thanksgiving, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drive to go visit Aaron and go see Eddie Moser.
There you go. Eddie said that all the 3D printing gun laws, 3D printing guns should follow the same laws as all other gun laws.
I agree. I just think it's hard to enforce them. Is all. That's all.
Oh yeah.
It's just a difficult thing to enforce.
For sure, so. It is.
Now, what's the difference in 3D printing a gun versus creating a mold and casting your own gun?
Well, see, here's the funny thing: the guy that actually released those files for the 3D printing, I forget the company's name. He actually got himself in trouble for
Yeah, for other things.
yeah.
But there is another company that was responding to I don't know if you guys follow Mike, who does the daily questions
I don't think
for
I do.
3D printing.
There's a lot
But
of 3D
I don't know that I follow him, but he tags like 100 people that I follow. So
yeah.
So I see
And yesterday there was, I think it was either yesterday or the day before, there was a conversation, and there is a company, I can't remember the name, I'm not going to promote them and name them, but they are starting to release and test various 3D printed guns that are actually working.
Eddie asked if you do a lot of ram hunts and stuff.
Oh yeah, I was gonna. You guys were talking. I didn't want to interrupt, so I was responding
that's
to the comments. Yeah, no, I don't do much hunting myself. This is in this area we do mostly deer and elk. There's a lot of deer and elk around here. Mule deer, whitetail, and elk. We do a lot. Ram hunting is a thing that exists nearby, but it's just not very popular. Mostly my sister, my brother-in-law is huge and really big in hunting, and he takes his kids out all the time. So, but I personally I don't do much hunting just because I don't know why. I just wasn't ever really raised on it. It's just not something that I ever did as a kid, and so as an adult, I guess I just continued on that.
I was raised on it, and I've gone hunting. I've not got anything while I was hunting. Well, deer. I've gotten rabbits.
Rabbits. I've got birds. But
So Ben has a question for us all. What is the best overhang you can print with your printer without your model being stringy?
I plead the fifth.
I think it depends.
It all really depends, one, on the model, two, on your cooling, and three, on your printer. And I'd say four on the filament that you have.
Now, me personally, I think I need to work on the cooling a bit, but this is not that much of an overhang. I mean, it is, but
It's a decent overhang.
It should have printed better than that, though.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. I mean, it's not awful. But yeah, no, I see. So that string right there, where that is, on my TD Tech, I printed the I did the unboxing and started printing the print that was in the file. The pig's snout, it had string like that, and then I didn't have any supports because it was the original file on that. And I'd say that's almost a 90 degree. I'd say that's about an 80 something degree angle.
I go pretty steep. I would say I'd be good with a solid like 70 if I use a small layer height.
Yeah, small layer height, the better it's going to be for it.
At a point two, I'd say 55 is probably the most I'd go.
0.2, 55, maybe 60. If you go down to like 0.12 or something, you can probably get up to 70, 75. I think Ben, though, he's got a Monoprice Mini V2 that has an E3D V6 hot end. But I don't remember if it has a cooling fan, like a parts cooling fan. And so his doesn't do super steep overhangs, and his magic numbers are like super weird. It's like 0.13 or something like that. It's like 0.31.
Do you guys actually use the magic numbers when you all print?
I do. I have found that it makes a difference for my printers, but I'm not like religious about it because I've printed at 0.1 layer heights just fine. But I found that a lot of times when I'm printing something, if I go to 0.12 instead of 0.1, it comes out slightly better, even though it's a slightly higher, thicker layer.
Yeah, I kind of just look at the angle and be like, I need supports for that. And
I
so
hate support so hard.
try Idea Maker. Try Idea Maker. You can toss them in manually, or you can have it generate them, and you can delete the ones out where you don't want them, and you can
Well,
change the
you
size.
can do that in Cura. You can do that in Prusa Slicer to a point. It's still the supports themselves suck.
Oh, I agree. It sucks doing it. But yeah,
And
man, you gotta think about your angle if you're gonna try to build something. So say like there's
this was printed with supports.
Yeah, so yeah, sometimes that happens. And also depends with the distance from your support to your actual piece too.
Well, then you got to worry about, like, if you get it close enough to where it actually is going to make the print look good on the bottom, it sticks and fuses to the model, and you can't get the support off.
Exactly.
And so that's the issue I think that Josh is talking about, is that air gap. If you get too big an air gap, then you're going to get all kinds of loops and strings, but your supports fall right off. But if you have a small little tiny air gap, you can't get the supports off in the first place. And and I think cooling is the key to that. You know what we need to do? We need to invent some sort of a process for, like, buttering up the top of your supports. Put some sort of oil
buttering
on the top.
it up.
I'm serious, man. When you get to the top, just have it print just the supports, have it stop, and then grab a stick of butter and just put it on there. I'm telling you, it fixes everything.
Eddie Moser, I don't completely agree with you on that, because your 0.4 nozzle is your width of your wall, not the height of your wall. So I don't know, the whole magic number thing, it's in my opinion, if your Z can move to the proper degree, then that is what would determine your principal layer height. I don't, like, I'm not a smart dude. I understand that 1.2 is divisible by 4.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. 1.2 is divisible by 0.4, but 0.4 doesn't go into 0.12 because 0.12 is smaller than 0.4. So,
well, I think he probably meant 1.2. But the thing is, the width of your nozzle determines the width of your wall, not necessarily how thick you can print, because you can print 0.05 with a 0.4 nozzle and have amazing quality.
So the formula that I've heard was, like, maybe 2 years ago, I saw a video with Maker's Muse Angus where he talked about printing stronger parts by using thicker layers. And the way that he described it was, as far as the nozzle height goes, you can print up to 3/4 the diameter of your nozzle. So if you have a 0.4 nozzle, you can print up to 0.3 millimeters.
But that's because of flow. That's because of flow. Your nozzle can't push out enough plastic for it to bond together to the next layer. You'll get gaps and such. But that has to do with flow. I believe it's Chuck
Hellebuck, Chuck Hellebuck,
who did the magic number video, and I have not watched it.
I haven't watched it.
Maybe there is a magic number system. I just don't personally believe in it.
So basically, like, the magic number theory is like your stepper motors in conjunction with the rod that you're using that drives the Z.
Right,
so,
and that's what I was saying. That would be the determination.
What height does one microstep make your z-axis move upward. So
Right,
if
right.
basically what he's saying is in the magic number for a normal NEMA 17 motor with the standard whatever those rods are that are like standard on like most every printer, every micro step will move up the nozzle like, oh, what is it? It's like 0.0 like 0.04 or something like that.
Right.
And so he's saying it doesn't do you any good to print at less than 0.04 layer heights because your steppers can only micro step to make it move up 0.04 millimeters.
Right.
So-
And then there's also the top layer can always get jacked up because if it's under 0.2 and you're printing at 0.2, then the slicer's either going to over or under extrude or skip that layer entirely.
And so yeah, Ben was saying that he's having problems where you can see all of his layers super easily, even at 0.0. Well, one, don't print at 0.0. You got to have other numbers after that. But
Well, he corrected
as-
0.065.
yeah.
So I've seen Ben's prints. He'll bring them into my classroom sometimes and show me. And what he's talking about, it looks more similar to like Z banding because it'll look like he's got like 1 millimeter thick layers. Like he'll print at 0.065 and it'll come out really clean where you run your thumb across it and you can't hardly feel the layer lines. But if you look at it, you can see it almost looks like Z banding coming through.
Well, if he's printing at 0.065 layer height, I want to print at 0.065 layer height. I would take it down to, my maximum layer height that I've printed at lately is 0.25.
Right, but he's talking about 0.06.
No,
0.025. I've not actually taken it higher. So I usually print at a 0.01 or 0.02.
You're talking about 0.1. You're talking about 0.1.
Yeah.
He's talking about
he's talking about
0.065.
0.065.
Yeah.
He's
So I
printing
would
at a much smaller, much
about a
lower
third of what we usually print at.
Yeah.
But
So print.
But that's because his printer has those weird magic numbers. Because I have a printer that has the same magic numbers and it's like 0.17 or something. So he's gone down, he's cut it in half and then cut it in half again to get like super ultra quality on it. But for some reason, he still ends up with this Z banding. And I think that the problem, Ben, is because inside of the box that the Z-axis moves up on is like a big threaded rod. And then when your motor spins, that's what moves the Z-axis up and down. And I think the problem with that particular printer is that rod is either bent or it wobbles as it's printing.
Can you access that rod in his printer?
I think you can.
You can, but you have to take the whole stinking printer apart. It's like 30 screws to get to it. It's all enclosed on the outside.
So
Ben seems like a motivated person to do that.
So it sounds a lot like what they did with the A-nets, because Josh would know because he's had an A-net. So at the top of the A-nets, you got your lead screws, which they actually set up sometimes through the plastic up there, but they really don't. So they kind of set down. I actually did things to hold them in place that cut that down so they don't flop around. So if you don't have that support for something that's going upright like this, if you
it's
get a little bit of wobble.
What's even better is if you can add anti-backlash.
That is true.
That's one of the settings in Cora, right? So this is my Monoprice Mini Select V1, and this is the PLA carriage that I had printed before that I'm going to replace with the PET G. But this is where I'm talking about that it's got. I mean, you can reach in and you can feel stuff inside, but as far as being able to access any of the electronics, you've got to take the bottom panel off, and you've got to take these side panels off, and you have to unscrew a bunch of screws on top and a bunch of screws on bottom, and then this whole metal bracket finally will slide out so you can get to the electronics.
That
inside.
is just extremely terrible design.
I mean, I think that this was designed with like kids in mind, because then they're not trying to reach their hands in and get like caught up in moving parts, because basically
Yeah.
all the steppers are concealed inside of here, and so you can't get your hands in any moving parts other than just the hot end. That's the only thing that you could hurt.
Right.
Which is actually the worst part, is the hot end, because it gets hot.
But yeah, but inside of here is the rods that the guide rods for the Z-axis, and I know that in mine they're loose. Like I don't know.
Oh, I can hear.
Yeah, so that's because the rods, they don't go all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom. There's like a slight gap, and so they move, and there's a little bit of wiggle room. And so I'm wondering if it has something with that too, where those guide rods just aren't perfectly straight, and so as it goes up, it just wobbles around.
So yeah, you can. There's ways of fixing that. You just gotta kind of get a piece to go in there and hold it. Like on my A net, I had to print pieces to hold the rods up at the tip top so they don't wobble too much. So, but pretty much that's kind of the only way you can do that, unless you've got a linear rod. The rail system, I should say rails, not rod. The linear rail system, which has all those ball bearings, and you don't have to worry about that because then it just slides up and down. And you could replace that with that. The motor would have to turn sideways. You'd have to do a belt-driven system for that.
It would. A lot of stuff would have to change.
Yeah, but you might be able to cram it in there.
I don't know. Can you do linear rods belt-driven on the Z-axis?
You can. It's been done. There's, what is it? I think the Voron 2. It's a open source kit. It uses belts on the Z, but I'm not a fan of using belts on the Z.
Well, it just seems like you wouldn't have as much precision.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I mean, you could also swap it out with a longer threaded rod. That could reach up.
Technically, if there was room, you could leave the threaded rod, mount the actual arm that's moving to a linear rail, and just have the threaded rod moving up and down, because that's what the rail core does. I mean, your bed is mounted on linear rails, but it still uses threaded rods for the up and down movement.
Eddie says yes, but I would do linear with a rod. Yeah.
Yeah, what I just said.
Well, so I'm watching chats, which has got that delay because I'm just watching the StreamYard. So
sorry, Eddie, it took us a second to get caught up with that. We're too slow for you, man. Too quick with
it. But I mean, to save a little money, if you got the rail system, you did a belt, you could do that. But the rod would be the best choice. But you got what's that? About 5 inches, maybe, Chris?
On the size of the bed, you mean, or the height?
The size on the inside of it. It's just you got maybe. Well, the outside's probably about close to 5 inches.
It's pretty tiny, man.
Yeah, you got maybe 3.5. Oh, see that? So you got more room that way. So that's about 5 inches that one, baby. About.
Well, I mean, there's definitely room, but I don't know if the trouble is worth it.
Yeah, that's the one thing is like this printer. So this Ender 3 usually stays in my classroom, and I use it for printing like little projects in my classroom and stuff. And then I just have this little monoprice that just sits on the counter because it's a small form factor, and that's what I needed to have because my wife didn't want some big bulky machine taking up the counter.
Yeah, but it's just not working. I ordered 2 Ender 3s recently.
Nice.
I really like mine, but I struggled adjusting to a Bowden system. Just getting, like, now that I know how it works, but getting the Bowden tube properly seated is like the biggest problem that any printer.
Oh, I understand that. So
Because if it's
I
not
know.
properly seated, it will
Yeah.
not function.
Both of mine are direct drives, so which I still need to try that TPU that I have. There's a company that I've seen them on Twitter saying I forget which one it is. Let me see. They messaged me on Facebook because I was like, oh, they were saying like, oh, for people in the UK, you guys want to try out our TPU? I was like, oh, that'd be really cool.
Dear, would you like to try some TPU? Dear,
If you would like to.
do you guys know who I'm talking about when I say that? Would you like to try? Would anyone like to try our filament, dear?
I think that's it. Yeah. So then this person said that, well, yeah, they're the U.S. and Canada people, but guess what? It's going to cost me money to buy it. Then after I did a review, they'd reimburse me. I was like, I'm not going to do that, guys. I'm not going to spend my money to do a review so you guys could possibly reimburse me for the review that you like. I'm not going to do
Well,
that.
technically, that can get your account banned on
Well, exactly. I'm not going to do that. Like,
Amazon.
oh, if you guys want to send me the filament, yeah, I'll test the filament out. I'm okay with doing that. I've done that before. I've gotten
they
filament
contacted me for the UFOs to use their filament, and I told them how much I needed, and they're like, "Well, buy the filament, and then we'll reimburse you 1 kilogram for every 5 of your subscribers that leave a review." I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
No."
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm not doing that. If
In
I
fact,
buy it, I buy it, and I'll do a review on it. I'm not going to have you go, oh well, we'll do this with this stipulation. That's not legal, people.
Those trophies that I was printing that I said all failed. I think some of it has to do with the filament. That I've had issues with this particular. It's that brand of filament actually that we're talking about. I bought it like a year ago before I had even heard of these guys or whatever. But I was trying it out, and I have a lot of layer issues just getting the layers to fuse. And I don't know if it's because it's some sort of like a silk PLA or something, or a satin PLA that's just hard to get the layers to fuse, but I end up with separation in the layer lines a lot with this particular brand.
So what you're saying is you suffer from separation anxiety.
Yeah. Maybe. Hey, does that count as a review? Refund my money for one of my spools now.
So yeah, I think I have the. Are you talking about the one that's got like the Batman on the logo?
The Batman with a 3D pen, yeah.
Yeah, I've got neon green of that, and I've actually printed with it one time. I was well, more than one time. I was printing things for the Maker Faire with it, and the thing I was doing I didn't take because the file was having issues with other stuff. But I mean, it printed good in the color, that neon green so far. I mean, I've not really printed much with it. I don't have time. I'm not like, oh, here, I'm going to do a review on a filament.
Right.
I think that you sent me some of this exact same filament in a UFO box too, Josh.
Which one?
It's a silk gold PLA.
I've sent 2 silk golds out. One of them was Snow Labs, and one of them was Filament One.
This one is 3D Hero.
Did I do a silk gold?
I thought. I'm gonna go look while we kind of wrap this up. I guess I'm gonna go look really quick.
So Eddie, where do you want to meet at in like a week?
I'm gonna look because it maybe not. Maybe I'm mistaken. And that wouldn't be impossible because I'm crazy.
No, I could have forgotten as well. It's entirely possible.
But I might have pulled it.
But 3D Hero, I think, is an okay company. It's the other company that has a hero in their name as well, Strong Hero 3D. That
Maybe it
are
is.
the
Maybe it is Strong
are
Hero
the
3D that I'm
ones.
talking about. It's the one that's the Sunlow.
Sunlu, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eddie. If Ben could save up and get himself a Sidewinder.
I don't know. Whatever it is.
Oh, now I remember. Strong Hero's the ones that made me mad because they used Luby's models without her permission and then tried to defend themselves against it with
Yeah.
some really weird, lame excuse. And I was like, seriously, this is how you're gonna? And they had literally just sent me 10 rolls of filament to review.
Wow.
But yeah, let's see.
This is it right here. But
June,
Oh, yeah.
I had Snow Labs Alchemist Gold.
You know, show a Joplin wouldn't be too bad.
Which box is that?
I don't know. I don't
Oh,
have it in.
okay.
I just have them in a big tub that I just put them
Gotcha.
all in. I don't
So that-
remember which one it was in,
It's
but
either
this is the one I was thinking.
yeah, it's either Snow Labs Alchemist Gold, or I think in March I had.
So I have the Alchemist Gold one, and I still have it labeled, but the other one I don't have it.
Yeah, there's the Strong Hero Silk Gold.
And then this is the Prusa one that you were talking about. The
Yeah.
This is the Pet G Carmen Red, and it looks like it's got a sparkle to it too.
Yeah, it does.
So I was having issues when I first got the probed Pet G. I was trying to print it, and I was having a ton of issues. And we actually did a segment on our show about this, but it was because I was using a hardened nozzle, and it's not so much that the hardened nozzle caused the issue, but the hardened nozzle made it so that I couldn't get the right temperatures to be able to print it properly.
Yeah, with some hardened nozzles you have to print a little hotter.
So with this hardened nozzle, I had set my printer to print at 260 because I was trying to heat it up. That's the highest that the Ender 3 will go is 260. But printing at 260, it's actually printing at like 240.
Right.
Or 235, and so it's just kind of right there on that threshold where it just wasn't.
That's odd that it's that much of a difference. Usually it's only a 5.
Like 20 degrees.
Wow.
It was like 20 degrees, and I noticed a huge difference when I took that hardened nozzle out and replaced it with a regular brass nozzle, and then everything that I tried to print just printed so much better because the temperatures were actually where they were supposed to be. Because I was using Maker Geeks filament because I used to subscribe to the Maker Geeks box back when they existed. But using the Maker Geeks filament, it prints at like 235. But you can print it down at 220 and it's still okay. Right. And so I had it set at 235 with my hardened nozzle because that's what it says on the spool. And it was printing just fine with the hardened nozzle because it was really only printing at like 220 or 250.
Right. Ben, you can actually order Sidewinders through me.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that because
alien3d.us, and they're $3.99 free shipping.
Hey, there you go. Ben, the link to his store is in the description down below, so you can literally just go scroll down and check it out that way. It's at the very bottom. All of his information that you need. So, I even have his personal cell phone down there. I'm joking.
Whatever.
His personal cell phone, his mother's maiden name.
Yep.
The name of his first pet.
If y'all want to steal my credit identity, you're more than welcome to. I'll probably improve it.
So yeah, I got his information down below.
Eddie wants to know if those printers are part of the V1 batch.
Eddie Moser, they'll be in stock I'm told by the end of this month, but no, they're the version 4 of the Sidewinders.
Now,
I
what
have
was the
I
price
have a
of the ones?
V1. The V1s were, they were their first version, so there was a lot of, well, not really a lot of issues, but there were some issues. They have some bad Z wobble. There's some firmware issues. Fans kind of wonky. Um, they've moved some things and got some better QC, and then as the iterations have gone by, they've gotten better and better, and the version 4s I'm hearing are every once in a while there's still some QC defects,
And that happens. I've seen that with a
but
lot of printers coming in from overseas.
But the artillery people are really great with their customer service. You basically email them. They may ask you for a picture of what's broke, and then they will get a replacement part out to you fairly quickly. The only person I have seen have problems with them is a guy named Lightspeed. But he bought a refurb, and it was actually, even though it was advertised as a refurb, it was really just a return that was used and tore up. And they were having problems, but since I have an in with artillery, I contacted them and said, "Hey, help this guy out. I trust what he's saying, blah blah blah." And they sent him the replacement parts that he needed. But
Nice.
yeah, the V1 electronics, I have been using mine for since February. My electronics have not failed. The two problems I have with it is the Z wobble, and whenever a print is done and it's doing a home after the print's done, uh, for some reason it sends a command halt, and I have to completely reboot it to be able to print something again.
Interesting.
But I have not updated the firmware or anything since I got it.
So here's a thing that I find interesting. So I've updated my firmware on my ANET. I've got an external MOSFET on there. Just well, I like to be smart and prevent fire hazards if I can. My KeyDetect. I've gone to KeyDetect's website, and if you look in there for the stuff, there's no firmware to update it. It's like they've got it closed sourced. Like you can't update it.
Right.
So the problem I have with things like that on KeyDetect and other ones that have not kept it open source or let you update it is to get any new firmware on it. You got to change your board out completely. You gotta gut it. I don't think I'll gut the KeyDetect. I mean, it works as is. But the fact of the matter that you can't update the firmware on it.
Not even with a bootloader or anything. You can't
I
get a
don't
bootloader to it.
I don't know, but I mean they don't have the files for me to download.
Because the old Crealities, they didn't have bootloaders either, and people were having to hack stuff together.
So let's see. So Eddie says he has 3 of the printers. I'm guessing he's talking about the
Sidewinders.
Sidewinders.
Yeah, I'm probably, after the first of the year, I'm probably going to buy another one of the newer ones. But I actually carry replacement parts for the Sidewinder now directly from
Them. That's nice.
Artillery / Envato, whatever they call themselves.
Yeah, because they don't label it artillery as they send it over because
Yeah, because they were, artillery Sidewinder, that's like weapons.
sounds like a weapons grade ammunition or something. So, but I mean, which is funny because they still say artillery, like the Sidewinder on it, But
yeah, on the printers themselves, but I think just for shipping,
they've changed the company's name,
and Voto and something like that,
whatever it is. Yeah. So Eddie
and
said
Novo.
he's running his own custom firmware on his, and he's only had a sensor die. That's it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That is nice.
As far as custom firmware, like firmware you wrote yourself, or did you customize Marlin? Because I know Artillery, the Sidewinders run off Marlin, and then they have some other code for their display system, which I thought was really weird. Like their the PCB that controls the LCD also has the USB and SD card reader on it. Yeah, good luck getting that rail core built. I'm glad I did not have to build mine, because just leveling the bed took me like 3 hours today.
He says custom Marlin,
Custom Marlin, okay.
which good on you, Eddie. Yeah, I can't customize it. I'm not that talented. I would like to be, but I'm not.
I teach robotics, but that doesn't mean that I know how to do anything. We use Lego robots, so it's like,
Hey, but
You should talk to Devin Rizzo. She's they do Lego robotics, and she's in charge of like 6 teams,
really,
and she's only 23.
I've got 2 different robotics teams right now going, on top of my 7 classes. But yeah, we're getting ready for our first competition. Is going to be in like 3 weeks, December 7th.
Awesome.
We just custom built a robot, and we have to finish everything hopefully tomorrow, so that we can program it and start practicing the actual driving of the robot. Basically, a lady showed up at our school and was like, so what? Oh. So for the last couple of weeks, Josh, we've done this competition where every time we get a like, we do some sort of a crazy thing. I had to eat some nasty zombie Skittles. Aaron last week was taking bites out of a gigantic gummy burger.
it was a 1 pound Krabby Patty burger.
Oh,
That
that's
is-
the Krabby Patty you were talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need to bring it and take at least 2 bites out of it next week.
I don't really have anything disgusting that's editable.
So that's my brother
well-
Jacob was asking, all right, who's eating what today? I just like the video. What's going on? What's happening?
I have
We'll
Fritos
save that for
party
next week.
scoops.
We'll save that for
Freedom
next week.
Well, yeah, sure, on my video.
No.
So-
Because I'll be eating the Krabby Patty more, because I still got like over half that Krabby
I still
Patty.
got over half a pound left of Krabby Patty.
It's if you haven't, Josh, go watch it. It's pretty much the entire stream. I'm just going
With this lime flavored lettuce.
Yeah, it was.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but anyway,
But yeah. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up. We've been going for almost an hour and 50 minutes. I know Chris has got school in the morning.
It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning.
Slacker, it's almost 3 o'clock for me.
Yeah, do you have to be at the school at 7 o'clock in the morning to go teach a bunch of kids?
I work from home. I do what I want.
Yeah,
It's almost 2 o'clock for me. So, Eddie, I definitely will talk to you on getting together in a week, pretty much, and we will have another live stream next Thursday.
Are you guys streaming on Thanksgiving next Thursday?
Thanksgiving night, I think so. I mean, He's got
I mean,
no school. I mean,
I'm
if he
doing
doesn't want
Thanksgiving
to.
on Sunday night, so I'm gonna be free Thanksgiving night most likely. I just don't know if there's gonna be interest. Maybe we should post a poll up on Twitter. Would you guys rather us live stream on Thanksgiving or push it back to like Friday or something? I don't know.
You guys can come do Alien After Dark with me on Sunday, but I think it's probably too early for you.
Well, what time is it for you that you do?
Well, I do it at 8 to 11. So that'd be 5 to 8 for you.
Also, I'm an hour behind you.
Oh, okay. I
So
thought you were on.
I'm in the Midwest. I'm in Missouri, man. Come on.
Gotcha. But
Oh,
yeah, I do it 5 to or 8 to 11 Eastern.
So you're
Okay,
saying
so-
it's almost 3 o'clock right now? It's like
Yeah,
2:50.
It's 2:50 for me right now.
It's 150
So-
for me.
So it's 12:50 for me. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm 2 hours behind you.
3. Wait, 12.
2.
Yeah, 2. 2.
2 hours. I'm 2 hours behind you.
Yeah.
So
'cause
if you
he's in
start
Arizona,
at
he
8,
doesn't
that
do
would be
time
like me
change.
starting at 6. I wouldn't mind starting at 6. I just usually do it this late because my kids
Right.
they tend to, as much as I love them, they get in the way when I'm trying to do a stream, and they are my focus. They're my sole focus, and so
Right.
I like, as much as I love
What?
doing the streams, 100 times out of 100, I'm gonna take care of my kids instead of
Oh,
the stream.
absolutely, and that's how it
Oh, yeah.
should be. Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
how it always should be.
So, but
We
yeah,
can
well,
work something out. Not this Sunday because whenever, but maybe one Sunday we can work something out.
yeah,
That'd be fun, man, for sure. Even if maybe I just join late or something like that.
yeah. It will depend on me because I gotta be at work for stuff. So, fun.
Yay, work.
Well, yeah. One Raz, happy Thanksgiving. If we're on next Thursday night, Friday morning.
I expect turkey costumes.
Ooh, I might just bring a turkey sandwich.
I can go for the
I
stream.
cannot do that.
So, all right. Well, everyone, thank you for joining the stream. And Josh, thank you for coming on here with
Hey,
us.
thanks for inviting me.
Yeah,
If you
seriously, it was a
guys
pleasure having you.
haven't, go ahead and follow Chris, aka MrCarrellScience, and follow Josh, Alien 3D. The links are down in the description below. Obviously, if you follow me, you should be following them because why? If you follow me, just follow them. They put out great content. Josh obviously does an After Dark thing because he's not afraid of the dark.
I generally stream every day.
So I will try to. Actually, I did subscribe to Josh's channel, so Josh, I will
Thank
be
you,
able
thank you.
to see whenever you do yours. So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, and all the links for social media are there. I'm tired and I've got hours to go. So, I'll probably get more cow if you walk around a little bit.
I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to bed. Y'all shut up already. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
But yeah, we greatly appreciate all of you for joining the stream. And Ben, I did see you subscribe to me a little while ago, so thank you for that. For subscribing. Get my words out, man.
Words, they're hard.
And I guess we will put a poll out on Twitter to see if we're going to be going Thursday night or not. And if we are on Thursday for Thanksgiving night, it's probably just going to be a free for all, just talking. So
I'll figure something out. It'll be Thanksgiving themed. It'll be good.
yeah, I can see
Whenever
that.
it happens, it'll be good. Maybe like, I don't know, maybe a Wednesday night thing would be better or whatever. But you have to do it later on Wednesdays, yeah?
No, I can do the same on Wednesdays.
Same on Wednesdays. So maybe it'll be a Wednesday thing. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Oh yeah.
We'll figure it out.
So all right. Well, everybody, take care. Happy making, happy printing, and whatever it is that you do. We'll catch y'all later. Take care, everybody.
See you guys. Thanks a lot.